little style, looks very different. But guys, our current owner had loved the property for many, many years, and so he had really studied about all the grandeur, about the It doesn't look very black and white now, does it? Knowing that there was a Union General, General Benjamin Butler, we talked about him in the museum a little bit. He was coming to occupy the land of John Burnside, but he was coming to occupy his land. John Burnside knew that, and I think he hid this map because of it. I mean, think about it. What a treasure map. Every plantation, every landowner. But just to give you another little idea of how large the plantation was, guys, this red fan area would have actually been the plantation when the Hamptons owned the property in 1847, compared to the entire city of New Orleans right here, the Black Crescent. So look how large.
600 place settings of this china.
Now after dinner, everyone, including the gentleman, would go into the...
This is kind of cross-stitch in the background, and then it's three-dimensional with felt and other fabrics on top. Beautiful.
And more recently, Grace and Sam. Okay? The dogs I showed you before. These paintings were actually found in the attic, but they were not restorable. You couldn't really tell what they were before. So he actually had these paintings already. Now these paintings were originally painted in 1857 to 1858 with the faces of people. But in the night, so they covered their faces with something more pleasant, their dogs, okay? And so this is what we have today. So because of that, he paints Grace and Sam over these. All of these things had to really show your social status at all times. Very different. These walls went all the way across. You know how those doors walked in? So kind of remove any oval that you see. Kind of take it out and kind of think more rectangularly. It would have gone all the way out. This wall was not here. It went out to where the yellow corner is. So it would have been a very huge room when they added this freestanding floating stairway. At that point, you could dance around that stairway if that's what you chose to do. It was wide open. Now, all right, guys, so Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte was filmed here in portion. And there was a scene where it would land right over there. Betty Davis actually stayed here for a little bit during the filming of the movie. So we have a room we call the Betty Davis room. And I'll actually be showing you the bed that she slept in. But
another big staircase, but this was obviously for servants, not guests. Nice fountain out there. Well, it's painted to look like stone. Did a good job on that. This was a carriage approach. Step out of the carriage onto this level, and there's the front door.
That I showed y'all. Once it would begin to crystallize, they would pour it into this. This is a sugar mold. And it would actually form a sugar cone. This is pure cane sugar. You're more than welcome to touch it. You can. It's a little sticky because of the humidity, right? You can smell it. It smells all the honey that you had, right? And saving this. And then you also had sugar loaves. Now, guys, this is your coffee station. Grind them into coffee grounds. This is your toaster, so you would put whatever you're cooking here, hold it in front of the fire. Once it's done, you could turn it. On Mondays in the South was laundry day, and they would iron everything all the way down to their linens every Monday. They would cook red beans and rice on those days because it would take all day to do your laundry and all day to cook the beans, kind of giving you the ability to multitask. Now, today, and Mondays in the South, we still in fact cook red beans and rice, but I'm not
Beautiful cast iron, wood burning, or coal burning cooktop.
I'll tell everyone.
She'll tell us about this submersible. It is from the Civil War.
In 1861, President Lincoln instituted a naval blockade of southern ports, which crippled the South.
There you are.
Sounds like a peacock.
You nasty.
There he is.
I think it is a peacock.
It's a peacock.
Hanging bougainvillea. I don't know if I've seen that before.
I will do that. I want you to sit there forever listening to me.
His name was Kevin Kelly, and he's the present owner of Houmas House.
It's considered a class of submarine, but it's actually a torpedo boat. And this one was in the Battle of Fort Sumter at Charleston Harbor. It sunk. We don't know whether it knocked out any of the ships along the way, or I should say the frigates along the way, or why it sunk. There's no history on it. But there would have been 6 men riding a bicycle contraption inside. So it was truly manpower. And riding this bicycle turned a propeller that was on the rear of the boat. So it would allow it to move. Now, the torpedo boats were only effective if there was no wind. So the sailing frigate that had cannons on it was only shot from the sides of the boat. There were never any cannons in the front or the rear of the boat. And if there was no wind, the wooden frigate couldn't do it. It was just there. And because this was man-powered, they would maneuver it around. On the front end, there was a long pole, I understand about 12 foot long, and at the end of the pole was a tray. And sitting in the tray was a basket of dynamite that had thorns on it. So because it was man-powered, it would ram either the front or the back of the wooden frigate. The thorns on the basket of dynamite would stick to the wooden frigate. They would back up. They would just bicycle backwards, back up, and when they'd move away, they'd pull a string and it would blow up the wooden frigate. The phrase, damn their torpedoes, full speed ahead, was talking about this. This is what a torpedo originally was. And that phrase was coined by Admiral Farragut at the Battle of Mobile. And that one is from 1853. There's only 3 of them left. One's at the Presbyterian Museum in New Orleans, which is part of the Cabildo complex. The other one is at the Louisiana State Museum in Baton Rouge. Let's see. So what happened was in the Battle of Mobile, there was no wind, and this, well, not that particular boat, but other ones similar to it, sunk 6 of the frigates, and they were lost. And Admiral Farragut said, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And the full speed ahead meant, let's get our sails going, let's capture some wind so they can move, because they didn't have any way of defending themselves against the torpedo boat. So I hope that explains everything to you.
Evidently, the river here is about 10 feet above normal. Another 10 feet and might be over the top. The water closer to the shore is too shallow, so we had a long walk to get ashore.